is now my pleasure to introduce a very special guest. He was Madeleine's friend. He's my friend. He's a friend of NDI. Madeleine's grandson, David Bowes, worked for this man for 10 years. He's been on NDI missions, and he is our prime mover for the Madeleine Albright Democracy Fund in Congress today. He understands to his very core that compromise is the oxygen of democracy, and he works at it every day. Please welcome with me Senator Chris Coons.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Senator Daschle, for your leadership of NDI. Thank you to Derek Mitchell. Thank you to all of you. This has been a remarkable evening, and I will not keep you long. The interview that you just heard, the remarkable interview by the inspiring Nobel Prize winner, Maria Ressa, in which we heard from Prime Minister Shemonite and President Sandhu about how they have worked to resist coercion, to oppose disinformation, to fight for democracy in nations under pressure, is just the sort of reminder of the example that our whole world needs. And the remarks you've just heard from President Zelensky is a reminder that democracy is literally today under assault. It was earlier today that a group of us gathered in the Capitol, the leadership of the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, to honor those Capitol police officers who gave their lives on January 6th. And while there are moments when we feel that the future hangs in the balance, that we struggle to find hope and courage, one of the greatest and best examples of a fierce optimist, of a determined believer, even while she worried at times, was the remarkable, fierce, forceful Madeleine K. Albright. So to Alice, to her family, to her friends, to Greg and David, to so many here who had the chance to know and to serve and to work with Madeleine, I just wanted to take a moment and say that she was an incredible, a special person. Someone who, having been born into a democratic country and then having to flee the advance of communism, someone who, as a young Senate staffer, as a person with an impish sense of humor, endless creativity and determination, a great mentor and a dear friend. She touched the lives of so many of us all over the world. I cannot imagine better people to receive the inaugural Madeleine Albright Awards than the honorees this year, both those who were able to speak in person and who received it remotely. And I just wanted to share with you that in a recent visit to Kyiv to meet with President Zelensky, I had the opportunity to share with him that a bipartisan group in the Senate and the House that includes Congressman Malinowski and Congresswoman Cheney, Senator Graham and myself, are working with a very broad group of advocates to fight for the enactment by the end of this year of the Madeleine K. Albright Democracy in the 21st Century Act. In this bill, we fight for authorization, and then we will fight for the funding for new funds that will provide tools to democracies around the world, struggling to fight disinformation, to combat corruption, to strengthen those who would speak up as journalists or as human rights advocates, and to make possible the next chapter in the fight for democracy to which Madeleine dedicated her life. Whether in Lithuania or in Slovakia, whether it's in Moldova or in Ukraine, we know that right now, today, is an urgent moment. So this is not just a commemorative act. This is not just a resolution of the Senate, although those are important. This is the sort of bill that I believe Madeleine would have hoped we would pass in her name. something that is meaty and substantive, something that authorizes and appropriates, something that will finance and move resources that will empower the next generation of women leaders, the next generation of journalists and advocates, the next generation of those willing to lie down and die on the field for democracy, because only by having their example, their demonstrated heart, is there hope for democracy in the 21st century. Thank you to everybody at NDI who helps make this possible and does this difficult and important work. And thank you to all of you for being a part of this evening's incredible honor for Madeleine Albright. Thank you.